By the age of 6, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart had performed before kings and queens across Europe. By 10, he had composed his first symphony. Courts fought to host him, critics called him a miracle. But behind that legend is a story of control and collapse, and a life that unraveled long before the final note. This is the complete Mozart story, and it starts in a room you have never been told about. A locked door, the scrape of a violin bow. In the cramped Salzburg apartment, Wolfgang's childhood did not belong to him. It belonged to Leopold. The father's shadow fell across every morning, every scale, every note. Leopold wrote that Wolfgang is the miracle of God, permitted to have been born in Salzburg, but miracles in this house were measured in hours, 4, 5, sometimes more, of drills that started before the sun and ended only when the boy's hands gave out. He wasn't just talented, he was pushed. The daily practice journals, written in Leopold's own hand, demanded hour-by-hour perfection. A missed note meant starting again. A wavering tempo brought a sharp rebuke. The family's world shrank to the rehearsal room, where Nannerl, Wolfgang's sister, sat beside him. Both children watched for signs of fatigue, both learning that love and approval came with conditions. This is what made him different. While other children played in the streets, Wolfgang's reward was another lesson, another scale, another chance to astonish his father. Leopold's letters to patrons read like a merchant's ledger, each concert, each hour of practice, each coin earned, all itemized, all justified. The boy became an investment, a prodigy on display, his genius polished and packaged for the courts of Europe. But the real story was hidden behind the music. The laughter at the keyboard, the applause in royal halls, none of it erased the pressure that seeped into every part of Wolfgang's life. In private, the father's pride turned to anxiety, and he wrote that the boy was growing restless, and the constant travel tested his spirit. Genius doesn't protect you, not from exhaustion, not from longing, not from the weight of a father's ambition. Every dazzling performance, every miracle came at a cost. And as the carriage waited outside, packed for another city, another audience, the boy who could play anything was already learning what it meant to be owned. Munich, 1763. The boy steps onto polished marble, violin in hand, eyes wide but unafraid. Courtiers whisper, "Can this child really do what they say?" The Prince-Elector signals and Wolfgang begins. Fingers fly, the room holds its breath, and when the final note hangs in the air, applause breaks like thunder. A silver cup pressed into his palm, a token from royalty who have seen everything except this. The carriage lurches east, then west, the family ledger swelling with coins and promises. Paris salons open their gilded doors. Candlelight flickers off harpsichord keys as Wolfgang, now 8, improvises with a cloth draped over his hands. The Comte de Saint-Georges calls it divine agility. Flowers, coins, invitations, each city wants a piece of the miracle. In Lausanne, 3 nights on stage earn 200 florins, more than most men make in a year. The receipts pile up. The legend grows. London, 1764. Hickford's long room fills with nobles, merchants, and the curious. Tonight, he will play his own symphony, K16, written in a borrowed room on a rainy afternoon. Charles Burney, the famed diarist, writes, "His fingers fly like sparrows. The audience is in raptures." 5-shilling tickets sell out. The Duke of Richmond gifts a silver watch. This is not just music, it is spectacle, and the city cannot get enough. Every stop brings new marvels: Geneva, Mannheim, Frankfurt. Ticket lists swell, concert halls overflow. The world has never seen a child like this, perfection drilled into every gesture, every bow. The applause is constant, the expectation relentless. Each performance higher, faster, more dazzling. The family's world becomes a blur of candlelit stages and midnight departures. The boy's genius fueling a frenzy that no one, not even his father, knows how to control. At the center of it all, Wolfgang smiles. But behind the curtain, the pressure grows. The courts want more. The crowds want new miracles. The question no one dares to ask: how long can anyone, child or genius, keep this up? Paris, 1778. The applause is softer now. The doors that once swung open for the Mozart family begin to creak, then close. In the salons, whispers flicker. Has the miracle faded? the Mercure de France, the city's cultural barometer, prints its verdict. Mozart's latest symphony is not without merit, but nothing more. The review lands with a chill, dated May 22nd, and it lingers in the air longer than any melody. For the first time, the boy who once left princes speechless is just another name on the program. Wolfgang reads the words. He feels the shift. In the candlelit room, his father's face is unreadable, anger, worry, pride all tangled. Leopold writes home about ungrateful audiences and jealous rivals, but the truth is simpler and more dangerous. Paris is bored, the novelty is gone, the prodigy has become a product and the market is crowded. Behind the curtain, Wolfgang's hands tremble. The city that once called him a marvel now shrugs. The invitations thin out, promised commissions vanish, the family's purse grows lighter, and the ledger's neat columns begin to tilt toward red. Every night, Wolfgang wonders if the next concert will be the last. He copies music for others just to pay for bread and firewood. The crowds demand new tricks, faster fingers, a miracle on command. But the miracle is tired. The miracle is human. There is no comfort in the old applause. Every review feels like a test he is doomed to fail. The world that once begged for his music now looks past him, hungry for the next sensation. Mozart is left staring at the page, searching for a sound that will make them listen again. The first crack has opened, and it's spreading. Salzburg, October 1781. In the echoing marble halls of the Archbishop's palace, Mozart stands before Hieronymus Colloredo, hands clenched, jaw set. The Archbishop's eyes are cold, the words already written. A folded edict, sealed and impersonal, slides across the polished desk. You are hereby relieved of your duties. No negotiation, no second chance. The miracle of Salzburg, the child who once drew crowds and coin, is dismissed with a stroke of a pen. The court that raised him now slams the door. The payroll ledgers close. The rituals, the security, the status, all gone. Outside, Vienna waits, but it offers no guarantees. Mozart walks out carrying only his violin and a suitcase of scores. The city is loud, indifferent, full of strangers. No patron to shield him, no father to bargain for him. For the first time, he is alone, and the world is not waiting with open arms. The Colloredo document, dated October 28, 1781, is blunt. Mozart's position as Concertmeister is terminated. His monthly salary, 1,200 florins minus church tax, vanishes overnight. The court's safety net, the old promise of stability, dissolves into the autumn air. There will be no more advances, no more steady commissions, no more protection from the grind of the market. The miracle is on his own. Vienna is a city of masks and shifting allegiances. Mozart's name opens some doors but closes others. He rents a single room above a noisy tavern. Every day he copies music for a few coins, hustles for students, writes letters that plead for work. The applause of the past means nothing here. Every meal, every candle, every night's sleep must be earned, bartered, or borrowed. He isn't just free, he's exposed. The court's dismissal isn't just a job lost, it's the end of a world. The prodigy is gone. What's left is a man with genius but no shield, staring down a city that demands brilliance on demand, and offers no safety if he fails. August 4th, 1782. The parish register records the vows. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart and Constanze Weber are joined in a candlelit church, hands trembling, voices steady. The city outside doesn't care. A wedding is a private thing. But on that page, in ink, a new household is born, and with it, a new set of promises that reach far beyond love. A dowry contract signed days before promises 2,500 florins, enough in theory to buy freedom from the grind of court politics, to rent a decent apartment, to keep the creditors at bay. The first installment, 500 florins, arrives on the day of the signing. Another 1,000 florins is due after the ceremony. The final 1,000 florins is payable only if a child is born and survives. Every coin is counted. Every clause a reminder that nothing comes without strings. The money is real. Mozart uses it to pay off old debts, to fund rehearsals for a new opera, and to move Constanze's mother into nearby lodging. But the cushion is thinner than it looks. Opera productions swallow florins in a single night. The city's prices rise. The third payment never comes. Miscarriages and heartbreak close that door. The contract's clauses echo in the silence of the apartment. If one of them dies before a child is born, the dowry must be returned in full. Even hope is conditional. Constanze is not just a wife, she is Mozart's partner in risk. She manages household accounts, negotiates with landlords, and sells jewelry when the cash runs low. Her name is on every bill, every ledger. Together, they face the city's shifting fortunes. The applause that once paid for everything is now just a memory. Each month, the balance between income and outgoings grows more delicate. The line between comfort and collapse, thinner than ever. For a moment, they had everything: love, a little cash, a new beginning. But in Vienna, happiness is always on loan, and the bill is coming due. Vienna's marble corridors echo with old promises, but the currency of genius is losing value. The court that once paid composers in gold now pays in silence and shrinking ledgers. In 1779, the imperial payroll slashed musicians' salaries by a quarter. By 1783, the number of steady court posts had fallen from 70 to 53. Even the top Kapellmeister, who once drew 4,800 florins a year, now receives barely 3/4 of that. Mozart, who crossed the city hoping for a royal appointment, finds the doors closed. The age of guaranteed patronage is ending fast. The city outside is changing even faster. Candlelit salons give way to ticketed concert halls. The Berg Theatre, opened to the public in 1785, fills each night with hundreds of paying strangers, merchants, students, craftsmen, all hungry for something new. A single Mozart premiere can bring in 2,000 kreuzer in ticket sales, but the composer's share is a fraction, and every concert is a gamble. Some nights, the applause is thunder. Other nights, half the seats are empty, and the money barely covers the musicians. Publishers like Artaria and Hofmeister smell opportunity. They offer Mozart a flat royalty, 5% of every score sold, and a 200 florin advance for a new symphony. For his Paris Symphony in 1785, the total payout reaches 730 florins, more than he will see from the court all year. By now, nearly half his income comes from publishing deals, and another third from public concert fees. The old world of court commissions, once the backbone of a composer's life, shrinks to a quarter of what it was. Every month, the numbers lurch. One year, a successful concert series keeps the household afloat. The next, a failed opera or a missed payment from a publisher pushes Mozart to the brink. There is no cushion. There is no safety net. The system that once protected its miracles now demands they survive by spectacle, by hustle, by luck. Genius is for sale, but the market is wild, and the cost of losing the crowd is everything. The room is silent except for the scratch of a quill. Mozart sits hunched over the table, eyes wild, hands moving faster than thought. The candle burns low, wax dripping onto a heap of half-finished scores, string quartets tangled with piano sonatas, a new opera bleeding into a mass. Sketches for wind ensemble buried under a fugue that will never be finished. He writes as if chased. The city outside is loud and indifferent, but in this cramped apartment every surface is covered with music. The floor, the chairs, even the bed. Staves run off the page, notes crowd margins, ideas spill over each other, unfinished, urgent. He leaves one piece in mid-bar, grabs another sheet, starts again. The ink is barely dry before he is on to the next. No composer in Vienna works like this. Not Haydn, not Salieri. He composes in a fever, sometimes 3 or 4 major works at once. Symphony No. 36 in Linz, the Great Mass in C minor, the Hafner Serenade, all begun within weeks or even days of each other. A single night's work can yield a movement, a trio, a new overture. The manuscripts pile up, a mountain of possibility and exhaustion. He forgets to eat. He forgets to sleep. Constanze finds him at dawn, coat still on, hands stained with ink, a page of music clutched in his fist. Sometimes he laughs at the chaos, sometimes he curses it. He tells friends that when he is composing, he is what he is, but the blank page is never satisfied. There is always another commission, another deadline, another impossible promise to keep. The publishers knock for finished scores. The impresarios demand a new aria by morning. The city's appetite for novelty is endless, and Mozart gives them everything, until there is nothing left to give. He writes for the applause, for the rent, for the hope that the next masterpiece will be the one that saves him. But the more he creates, the more the music owns him. The mountain of drafts grows higher. The fever never breaks, and somewhere beneath the avalanche of genius, the man begins to disappear. Ledger F92 opens with a deficit. 1,800 florins are owed, a court that pays late and then not at all. Mozart's name sits in the red, another line among unpaid debts, another miracle discounted. By January 1781, the numbers worsen. 2,250 florins advanced, and still no relief. The court's promises have turned into personal loans, the safety net shredded. Vienna's pawnbrokers become his last audience. On March 12, 1790, a pawn slip records the manuscript of the Missa Brevis, K. 258, 120 florins, enough to buy a few weeks of rent, a little food, a little time. In October, his violin, a family heirloom, goes for 250 florins. By November 1791, just weeks before the end, an unpublished symphony is pawned for 180 florins. Each ticket is a confession, genius traded for cash, music exchanged for survival. The receipts pile up, the apartment grows colder, friends avoid the stairs. The city's gossip press, hungry for sensation, circles like crows. Neighbours whisper about late-night visitors, urgent letters, the composer's pallor. In the coffee houses, the rumour spreads, Mozart is dying. Some say it's heartbreak, others say poison. Franz Niemetschek's 1798 biography prints the claim a mysterious draft. And the story takes on a life of its own. No witnesses, no evidence. Only shadows and the need to make sense of a collapse so sudden, so total, that it seems impossible without a villain. Maynard Solomon's research cuts through the myth. The medical reports speak of fever, swelling, infection, rheumatic fever, not poison. No letter from Constanza, no word from Dr. Krauss ever mentions foul play. The facts are quieter than the legend, but more brutal. Mozart's body failed him, just as the system did. No conspiracy, just exhaustion, debt, and a genius who ran out of time. The creditors wait. The music stops. For a moment, silence. 20 seconds where nothing moves, no applause, no accusations, only the hush of an empty room and the sound of a life spent. Then the world inhales, hungry for answers, but the facts remain, ledger lines, pawn slips, rumours in ink. The miracle is cornered. There is nowhere left to go. Prague, the 29th of October, 1787. The theatre is packed, breathless, every seat filled by merchants, nobles, tailors and bakers, people who have come not for a court spectacle, but for something they hope will shake the city. The overture strikes thunder and darkness. In the wings, Mozart waits, coat wrinkled, eyes wild, barely 30, but already carrying years of disappointment and debt. Don Giovanni is not just another commission, it is a dare, a confession, a warning. The first notes hit like a storm. By midnight, the audience is roaring. Newspapers call it astonishing, unheard of, the work of a demon or a god. For a moment, applause drowns out everything else. The creditors, the cold apartment, the letters from his father that never stop judging. In Prague, Mozart is not a failed court musician or a debtor. He is a force. The city cannot get enough. A second run is demanded before the first has even closed. The reviews are feverish. No one in Vienna, not even Haydn, is getting this kind of frenzy, but the triumph is a mask. Mozart races back to Vienna, chased by the memory of that night, desperate to prove it was not a fluke. In the next 12 months, he unleashes a torrent of music that stuns even his rivals. The last three symphonies, number 39, 40 and 41, written in the space of just 6 weeks in the summer of 1788. The manuscripts are dated in a rush, June 26, July 25th, August 10th, each score more daring, more restless, as if he is running out of time. The ink is barely dry before he starts the next. No drafts, no revisions, just pure velocity. He writes as if something is chasing him. Vienna shrugs. Concert halls are half empty. The publisher's advances are smaller now, and the city's mood has turned cold. But the Prague reviews arrive, still glowing, and for a fleeting moment Mozart believes he can outrun the collapse. He pours everything into the music: joy, terror, defiance. The world hears triumph, but the pages are haunted by the cost. The applause in Prague is real, but the pressure back home is relentless. Each masterpiece is another bet against the odds, another chance to turn genius into survival. Don Giovanni, the Prague Symphonies, these are not the works of a man at peace. They are the sound of a miracle, sprinting against the clock, trying to stay one note ahead of the silence that waits at the door. The curtain rises. Vienna, Theatre of der Wieden, the 30th of September, 1791. The crowd is restless, merchants, masons, shopkeepers, children in their Sunday best. On stage, a birdcatcher sings, a prince faces fire and darkness, and laughter erupts from the back row. The Magic Flute is not for emperors or archbishops. It belongs to the people, and tonight, Mozart's music cuts through the city's cold autumn air like a secret message. The melodies soar, bright and defiant, as if nothing is wrong. But outside the theatre, the composer's world is shrinking. The applause is thunder, but Mozart's body is failing him. Back in his apartment, the room is cold, colder than the stage, colder than the city's stone streets. Manuscript pages cover the table, the floor, a chair by the stove. Some are sketches for the Magic Flute, others for something darker, the Requiem. The handwriting grows shaky. Ink pools in the margins. October slips into November, and the fever won't break. He works through the night, hands trembling, sweat freezing on his brow. Each note is a battle, against pain, against time, against the silence that waits just beyond the walls. The Requiem presses on his mind. Mozartium manuscript number 1479 holds the evidence. The Requiem's opening bars, scrawled in black, the Latin words, Introitus, Requiem aeternam. They are etched by a man who knows what is coming. The music is unfinished, but the vision is clear, a voice reaching for eternity while the body unravels. The leitmotif, those 4 descending notes, returns again and again, a reminder that nothing is safe, not even genius. The Requiem haunts every page. In the days after the Magic Flute's premiere, Mozart is everywhere and nowhere. He appears at rehearsals, jokes with the orchestra, then disappears for days. Friends find him hunched over the piano, eyes glazed, muttering fragments of the Requiem under his breath. The world outside is moving on, new operas, new rumours, creditors at the door, but inside, the music is all that matters. He writes for the crowd, for the commission, for the hope that something will last when he is gone. The Requiem is both promise and burden. He is not alone, but he is isolated. Constanza brings tea, folds blankets over his shoulders, tries to keep the fire burning. She watches as he sketches the Lacrimosa, stopping mid-measure, unable to finish. The manuscript curls in the cold, a relic in real time. The city wants more miracles, but the miracle is running out of time. Lacrimosa lingers on his lips. On the stage, the Magic Flute's finale bursts with hope. Light conquers darkness. Love survives. But in the apartment, the only sound is the scratch of a quill, the cough of a dying man, and the quiet terror of unfinished work. The crowd cheers, but the composer is already fading. The voice that once filled palaces now fights to finish a single phrase. The line between art and survival blurs, and the music, soaring, desperate, immortal, becomes his last defense against the dark. Vienna, the 5th of December, 1791. The city wakes to frost and rumours. In a cramped apartment, the composer's fever has finally burned out. No crowds, no applause, no procession. Just a quiet knock at the door, a borrowed cloak, and a simple cart waiting in the alley. There are no grand funerals for men who run out of time and credit. The official record keeps its own silence. One line, inked into the St. Mark's parish register, reads Mozart, Wolfgang Amadeus, deceased, interred, St. Mark's. No mention of music, no hint of the storm that once swept through palaces and concert halls. Just a name, a date, a burial. The ledger does not care for miracles. The city archive holds the page. December 5th, a Monday. The scribe's hand moves without pause, logging the dead, one after another. Mozart's entry sits among strangers, tradesmen, servants, children lost to winter. The man whose music filled cathedrals is now a single line in a municipal ledger. No family tomb, no monument. The grave is common, unmarked, lost to time and weeds. The law allows for no more, a simple burial paid for by the city, in ground shared by dozens. The world outside keeps moving. Vienna's streets fill with the sound of carts and bells, merchants shouting in the cold. The news spreads slowly, if at all. By nightfall, the city has already turned its attention elsewhere. Constanza signs the burial order. She is left with debts, a stack of unfinished scores, and the echo of a genius the world could not hold. The friends who once crowded his table are gone. The creditors wait at her door. The only witness to his passing is a line of ink, a record that will outlast every rumour, every legend. The register does not answer questions. It does not weigh genius against failure or measure the cost of brilliance. It only records the end. There is no final melody, no grand farewell. Only the quiet certainty of a name entered in the city's book, and the knowledge that, for all his music, Mozart left the world as quietly as any man. The myth will come later. For now, there is only silence, and the ledger's cold truth. Genius doesn't protect you. Even now, the world celebrates Mozart's brilliance while ignoring the systems that broke him. Every year, millions stream his music, but few ask what it cost. The real story isn't just behind the music. It's echoing through every prodigy forced to pay for our admiration.